So this video is going to be a little tutorial for Blights and Calamity. Recently, the no amiibo route has kind of merged with the amiibo route. So instead of doing castle differently, instead you would go off to the side, grab full razor shrooms, and then go to castle. And then you just do the amiibo route. So it's exactly the same. So now because of that, Blights should be exactly the same for both routes. I'm going to preface this video by saying two things. Blights and Calamity are very hard. Blights and Calamity are one of the hardest parts of the run when starting out. Even later on, Calamity is still one of the harder parts of the run. Another thing that is important is that this bow right here, you do not want to be doing any extra hits with this bow. So I'm going to be going over proper weapon routing because by the end of Blights, you'll only have 13 shots on this bow after Blights, and you need every single one of those shots to do Calamity properly. So first things first, we're going to go over Windblight Skip. You're going to climb this wall right here, and then after grabbing onto this wall, you're going to hit B to let go to drop off the wall. And as soon as you touch the ground, you want to hold ZL, the target button, so you don't change your angle. And then you're going to walk all the way into this left corner here. And then you're going to side hop right twice. You should be doing swings before the hops. In the middle of the jumps, you can actually buffer the next jump. So if you get good at doing it without the swings, you can just skip those. But you're going to jump right twice, and then on the second jump, something that trips up a lot of people is you want to be lined up with the center of this pillar after the second jump. If you jump way past this pillar and you're not lined up with the center of it, you know you've done something wrong. So after the second hop, you'll see I am lined up directly in the middle of this pillar. My left foot is at the bottom of this step. It's a good visual cue to know that you've done it right. And then you're going to backflip and then side hop left. And then what we're going to do is we're going to aim at a very specific spot. So there's this sort of pillar above the stairs. I'm actually going to post a screenshot in the description, a very high quality screenshot of exactly where to aim. For this, basically my visual cue is there's this sort of shape here above the pillar. And then this right corner, and there's like this red bar here. I like to aim right above this right corner. That's my visual cue. I should probably use a thinner pen for that one, but it doesn't really matter because I'll be posting a screenshot and you just line it up the exact same way. Okay, so after you've lined it up, you want to pause, eat the attack up food if you haven't eaten it already. And then in this pause menu, all you do is you hold forward on the left stick and you unpause. That's it. You'll see I'll hold forward here. And right at the very beginning of this cutscene, you can already tell if you've hit it. A lot of people can't see it, but right here, as he's spawning, as like these blue like tendrils are forming Windblight, he'll be shaking at the start of this cutscene. He's already shaking like crazy here, and that's how I know I've hit it, because I'm hitting him as he's spawning in already. So if he's standing completely still at the start of that cutscene, you know you've missed already. Once Windblight is dead, you can just skip this next cutscene at the start of all the Blights immediately. At the end of every Blight, I'm going to be going over exactly which weapons that you have used on each phase, just as a review sort of thing. For Waterblight Phase 1, you want to start off with the Edge of Duality, and while he's sort of standing still, you want to do 2 hits right to his face. Usually you can get 2 off. Sometimes he takes a little bit longer to do his attack. And one of the main things that you'll notice here, there is this circle on the floor. This is the very first visual cue that I'll be going over. This circle with the Triforce symbol in it, you need to stand outside of this entire circle. If you stand inside this circle, then Waterblight is going to do his slam attack. If you stand outside of this circle, however, then Waterblight will do this lunge attack. So you'll see I just walk to the left to dodge his lunge attack, and then I stand between his body and his arm here. And what I try to do is I will get 2 hits on his body. I'll get double hits by facing away from it. Make sure Link is facing this way. And then the front of the sword will hit his arm as well. Getting triple hits is optimal, but it's not required. If you get double hits, that also ends the phase. It just is a little bit slower by like 1.5 to 2 seconds. So you'll see me here, I'll get triple hits. And there we go, ends the phase. And that is phase 1 of Waterblight. So phase 2, I'll go over the next visual cue, another thing that's really important to note in a second over here. So phase 2, we're going to switch to the white claymore. This one is called the Royal Claymore. And this one is called the Royal Guards Claymore. So this black one is the Royal Guards Claymore, the white one is the Royal Claymore. I'll just call them the white claymore and the black claymore for the rest of the tutorial, not to confuse anybody. So we're going to switch to the white claymore, and we're going to use that for the entirety of phase 2. So Waterblight can go to either side of the room. He can go to the left, or he can go to the right. And technically he can kind of stop in the middle sometimes, but it's pretty rare. So if he goes to the right, there's really nothing to worry about. You can do the whole next part pretty easily. But if he goes to the left, like he is in the video over here, that's where you're going to have to stand in a very specific spot to shoot him down. I'll show that visual cue in a second. So over here, we're going to see Waterblight is spawning up here. And that causes an issue because if you're standing over here and you shoot him twice to headshot him, Waterblight's going to fall down on top of this platform and you can't do any hits. And then he's going to get up and void out and it'll waste a lot of time. Because there's no way you can get up these stairs and all the way up here to Waterblight fast enough. It's not possible. So what you're going to want to do is there are these 2 pillars right here under the platform. You want to stand beside these pillars and then aim up at Waterblight from the side when you do the 2 headshots. So if you aim up at Waterblight from the side, when he gets headshot, he will fall down this way and he'll fall all the way down. So you'll see that in a sec over here. I'm just gonna get rid of all this. Okay, so I'm gonna play the video. You'll see on the side, I do 2 headshots and it knocks down Waterblight. So after the 2 headshots, what we're going to do is we're going to do 3 spins with this white claymore. And then after 3 hits, we're going to slam, and the slam should do 2 hits. So you're going to do a total of 5 hits with the claymore. 3 spins, plus slam. Now, optimally, you do a headshot on Waterblight as he gets up to void out. But I'm going to be showing you both. I'm going to show you the easy strat, which is to hold your shot until the next time you knock him down. And I'll be showing you the one where you do actually headshot him as he's voiding out. So quick, I'll show you the 3 spins and slam. 2, 3, and then 4, 5 from the slam. And by the way, you can hit his arm or his body, so that's another thing that you can note. And so as he's up here, this is the spot where I would normally headshot him. And I think in this clip, I actually go for it out of muscle memory, but I stop myself. So you're actually, just don't even go for this shot at all. Wait for him to void out if you're not comfortable with that shot. And you're going to do 2 more shots here, right into his face. And then at this point, because we skipped the headshot earlier, we're going to do it to him now when he's on the ground. When he's on the ground, his head should be visible, and then you just headshot him right in the eye. So you'll see me walk up and do that right here. So in the end, it's going to be 2 headshots on one side of the room, 2 headshots, 5 claymore hits, and then 3 headshots. So if you do the early headshot, it ends up becoming 3 headshots, 5 claymore hits, and then 2 headshots. So that's in total, it's the same amount of hits. It just depends on when you do it, essentially. I'm going to show you the early headshot from when Waterblight is essentially rising up after the 5 hits. So you'll see I stand next to the pillar, 2 headshots, 3 spins and slam. And then I do a headshot right here. So actually, that's one thing that I think I should go over. You'll notice I slam, and then at this point, a lot of people will try to pull out the bow. They'll hit the ZR button, the right trigger, to try and draw their bow and line up the headshot early. Right now, I can't actually pull out the bow. I'm still stuck in this animation. So if I hit ZR right now, nothing's going to happen. And a lot of people get confused because then after they're holding ZR for a second and a Waterblight gets all the way up, they'll press ZR again and they'll finally start pulling out the bow and they'll miss it entirely. So it's really important that you wait for Link to finish the slam animation. This slam right here, once he's done and he goes back into a neutral position, that is when you press the ZR button to pull out the bow. So that's going to be another important concept for another Blight. Actually, it's going to be an important concept for the very next Blight. So you'll see I finish the slam, and then I pull out the bow, and I headshot him. You kind of have to have experience with Waterblight to know where his head is going to be. It takes a little bit of practice, then it's actually not too bad. And then the phase should end with 2 headshots here. The reason why it's super important to have the Claymore still equipped is because it's really important for the next Blight that you end with this Claymore. If you somehow mess up and you're trying to do some jank backup and you switch to like the boomerang and you finish off Waterblight that way, it's not going to work because you're immediately going to mess up on Fireblight. You'll see the phase will end with these 2 headshots. Okay, so now we're going to move on to Fireblight. So Fireblight Phase 1, I'm going to show you the normal strat, and then I'll show you the optimal strat after that. So you'll see as I'm loading in, I'm already walking forward. On the left stick, the left stick, you want to be holding this forward, like in the loading screen, before the Blight even starts up. So you want to be holding straight forward and you'll be walking straight up into Fireblight as soon as the phase starts. At this point, I'm going to go over the inputs exactly because a lot of people get confused. So while holding straight forward, I press Y once to take out the Claymore. And then after that, after taking out the claymore, I press and hold Y a second time. So you press Y once to take out the claymore. Then you press and then hold Y. That's important because a lot of people will try to hold Y as soon as the phase starts, and they'll be like, why am I not spin attacking? And it's because you didn't have the claymore out beforehand. So press Y once, then let go, and then press and hold Y. So you'll see I'm taking out the claymore right now, and then I start spinning immediately. So on this phase, we're going to use both claymores, the white one and the black one. So we're going to do 3 spins and slam with the white claymore, and then once the slam animation is complete, we're going to switch the black claymore and do 3 more spins and slam. So let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 hits from the slam. And then as soon as the slam animation ends, as soon as I'm upright again, you'll see I switch to the black claymore. And that's important because a lot of people will try to switch the claymore too early. If you try to switch it in the middle of the slam, you're going to mess up. It's not going to register your inputs, and you're not going to get the hits off for Fireblight. So I switch the black claymore, and I like to wait until my stamina is at about half, because then this lets me get 3 more spins. 1, 2, 3, and then a slam. And then I'm going to do 1 jump attack with this. Or you could do a regular attack, actually. A jump attack, regular attack. At the end of the day, I don't know if it really matters. But you want to do 5 hits with the Royal Claymore, the white claymore. And then you want to do 6 hits with the Royal Guard claymore. This is the white one, and this is the black one. That is the total number of hits you want to do. And that should end phase 1. This might take a little bit of practice to actually get done, but it shouldn't be too bad. It's easy enough that I'm not going to show you any backups for this. Okay, so now I'm going to show you the optimal strat for phase 1. Is basically, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to hold forward, press Y, hold Y to do 3 spins and slam. And then it's important, by the way, that it's 3 spins and not 3 hits. Because basically, think of the attacks as like they get charged up the more spins you do. So if I only do 2 spins instead of 3, it's not charged up enough to knock down or stun Fireblight. So with every spin, the slam kind of gains power. So that's kind of the way I think about it. If you do get like an extra hit on his hand here, you kind of want to start the 3rd spin and slam before it finishes. Slam before you get another hit on Fireblight. Okay, so with that out of the way, let's keep going. So 3 spins and slam. And then here you want to do 3 spins, and you're going to see I get 3 hits on his body and 1 hit on his hand. And that's going to give me 4 hits. And then I'm going to slam for 2 more, which ends the phase because I did 5 hits and then 6 hits, like I said earlier. So 3 spins and slam. And that was a 6 hit total, and it ends the phase. So phase 2, I'm going to go over how to 1-cycle here. 1-cycling is pretty difficult. So I'm going to try and be really precise and exact with this. So you're going to see if you got the weapons in the proper order, then all you have to do is the quick menu, the menuing here, That's the D-pad right there. So the right one is the weapon, and the top one is your rune. So what I'm going to do is I hold right on the D-pad, this one, and then I menu once to the right, and I go to the boomerang from the black claymore. And then after that, I hold the top one, and I menu once to the right again. So it's hold right on the D-pad, menu right, hold up on the D-pad, menu right, and that's it. So that should equip the square bomb and the Royal Guard's claymore. Or not the Royal Guard's claymore, the boomerang. And so I'm going to drop the square bomb in the center of this Triforce right here. It's not that precise. Don't even worry about it too much. But I'm going to drop the square bomb in the middle of the room. And then it's important to see where Fireblight actually goes. So I'm going to stand between the square bomb and Fireblight, directly in the middle. So at this point, I'm looking up at Fireblight, I have the boomerang out, and I'm between him and the square bomb. And now I'm going to watch for the square bomb to fly up and get behind Fireblight. I'm going to actually change the pen color here so that it's a little bit more visible. I'm going to wait for the square bomb to get behind Fireblight. And as soon as I see the square bomb is behind his back, I'm going to blow it up. Because when it blows up that way, Fireblight will get sent towards the middle of the room because the bomb blew up behind him. This is to get very consistent positioning on Fireblight. And while the bomb is behind him, I'm going to be walking forward. I'm going to hold forward on the left stick while blowing up the bomb. And that should get me in the perfect spot to one cycle Fireblight. So you see, I'm walking forward and I blow up the bomb directly behind Fireblight. Here I am. I am behind Fireblight. I see his like red tuft of hair and his arm. And this is like the perfect position to be in to get the one cycle. So phase 2, what you're going to do is you're going to use the boomerang and you're going to do 2 hits and then throw the boomerang at him. And then you're going to switch to the Royal Claymore, the white one. And you're going to face away from Fireblight and you're going to go for double hits, triple hits even, if you're really going for something optimal. So I'll do 2 hits and then throw, switch the white claymore, and positioning here is super important. If you are too close, like if you're inside of his hair here and you're clipping into his hair, your spins will miss. Your hits will just not connect, and you will not be able to one cycle Fireblight. So don't stand too close, and basically just stand just outside of his hair here, and that should be good. Then we're going to go for double hits. And after the first hit, you'll notice Fireblight is starting to get up. So because he's going to get up in a certain way, you want to target him. You'll see this arrow up here because I hit target as soon as the first hit connects. And that's important. If you hit target as soon as the first hit connects, Link actually raises the claymore up to hit the Blight. So if a Blight is ever floating off of the ground in a certain way, holding target lets you actually connect those hits with the Blight. Link will raise the claymore or whatever weapon he's holding to hit him. So we'll see right here, I'm holding target, and as I'm spinning, I'm pushing the forward into Fireblight. I'm like holding forward, and I'm going to get between his body and his arm here. That way I can get double hits on his body and single hits on his arm. So you see I'm getting hits on his body and his arm, and this lets me one cycle Fireblight. So let's see that one more time. I'm going to go over everything real quick from the top. Okay. So phase 2, menu once to the right on both menus. Get the boomerang and the square bomb out. Stand between Fireblight and the square bomb. Walk forward, and as soon as the bomb is behind him, you want to detonate. 2 hits and throw. Switch to the Claymore. Go for double hits while pushing yourself between his body and his arm. And remember to target him as soon as the first hit connects. So in this next clip, what I'm going to show you is there is something that's pretty common with Fireblight, is that he will get up early. And it is entirely RNG if he gets up early. We have no idea why it happens. But if Fireblight gets up early to void out, you're just going to miss the 1 cycle, and it's pretty unfortunate. So this is a clip of what happens when Fireblight gets up early. It's slower, but it's pretty easy to still end the phase. So we'll see. He was getting up as I was doing the boomerang hits. So an important detail about the Blights is they get up based off of 2 things. The primary thing is a damage threshold. When you deal a certain amount of damage to the Blight, they get up. They won't be stunned anymore. So even though I only did 2 boomerang hits, Fireblight is getting up, which means he got up early. It's RNG. Because we know that he should get up on the first Claymore hit after the boomerang throw. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to throw the boomerang, pick it back up, and then I'm going to do double hits after he materializes again, after he voids back in. And so even here, I got unlucky again because Fireblight's going to do a really fast attack. So I have to slam here to avoid death, and then I do 2 hits to end the phase. So if you miss the 1 cycle, it's not the end of the world. You kind of lose just about like 8 to 10 seconds-ish because he voids out, he rematerializes, and then you just do the double hits again to end the phase. So that's Fireblight. Now we're going to move on to Thunderblight. So as soon as Thunderblight starts, again, we're going to be holding forward on the left stick. The left stick. We're going to hold this straight forward. And this time, we're going to be sprinting. So hold B. Hold B and hold the left stick forward. And we're going to do a sprint attack and hit his shield twice and break it immediately to stun him. So I'm going to do 2 attacks and it breaks his shield. And now what's really important here is the concept of jump canceling. So after the 2 hits on his shield, you're going to want to press X to jump. So pressing X actually lets you jump cancel whatever attack you're doing. So if you don't jump cancel this attack, you won't be able to get enough hits off to knock down Thunderblight properly. So then, after breaking his shield and jump canceling, we're going to face away from him. The left stick, we're going to hold it away from Thunderblight, and then we're going to hold Y to start doing spins. So a lot of people make the mistake of facing away with the left stick and then just holding Y. But that's wrong, because Link will automatically turn around to face the Blight, and it'll mess up getting double hits. You have to be holding the left stick away from Thunderblight while you're holding Y. If you're not holding the left stick away from Thunderblight when you're holding Y here, Link will turn around and he'll auto-target Thunderblight, and you won't get any double hits. So make sure you're holding the left stick away. After this, we're going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hits here. We're going to get a single hit, 2 hits, 2 hits, and then 2 more hits on the slam for a total of 7 hits. So that's 3 spins. 3 spins plus slam for 7 hits. And then after this, you can go for double hits or you can go for single hits. I'm going to, I think, in this clip, go for single hits. So yeah, I target Thunderblight, and then I do 2 more spins and a slam for 4 more hits. 2 spins and slam for 4 hits. If you go for double hits there, you can get 5 hits. It doesn't actually make a difference. Essentially, you can do a little bit of overkill damage into phase 2, but it doesn't really make a difference at the end of the day. After that, Thunderblight will rise up, and we're going to throw our Claymore at his face and break it. And that'll end the phase right here. So, phase 1 on Thunderblight, essentially, we got 7 hits. And then we got 4 hits. And we threw it. Throw. Okay, so that's 11 hits total, plus a throw. That's all you need to end the phase. What's important about ending the phase here is essentially you break Thunderblight's shield, and then you knock him down, and then you do spins and slam, and then as he rises up and he throws out these electric balls, I'm really bad at drawing a lightning symbol. But when he throws out the lightning balls, that is when you want to end the phase. His shield's broken and he throws out the lightning balls. If you do not end the phase at this part, phase 2 of Thunderblight will be messed up. Go over phase 2 real quick. So for phase 2, Thunderblight will drop these metal pillars. So at this point, if you picked up the boomerang earlier during Fireblight, you'll have it in your inventory, which is really good, because then you don't have to go around looking for it or remembering where it was. So you just switch to your boomerang here. If you threw it on Fireblight, you ended the phase, and then you did all the first phase of Thunderblight, your boomerang is still on the ground somewhere around wherever Fireblight fell down. And you're going to have to look down at the ground and look for your boomerang and run over and pick it up really fast. Because you're going to need to throw this boomerang for this phase. So I have a visual cue of where to stand. Remember we were talking about the circles on the ground? Well, there's this circle with the Triforce in it right here. And then there's this sort of outer circle. I like to stand where all these like leaf and flower patterns are. Because if you stand inside this range and you throw your boomerang at Thunderblight, your boomerang is going to fall somewhere around you over here. It makes it really easy to pick back up, which is important. It is important that you basically stay essentially in this entire region of the circle when you throw this boomerang. Let's get rid of all this, and we'll continue. So as soon as you hear the 4th pillar connect with the ground, that is when you throw the boomerang. When people talk about the 4th pillar falling to the ground, they think, oh, as soon as the 4th pillar comes out, I can throw it. But that's not entirely true. It's actually after the 4th pillar lands and hits the ground, you want to throw it. You have to listen for the 4th impact. If Thunderblight only drops 3 pillars and you throw the boomerang early because you anticipated the 4th pillar coming, the boomerang's going to hit his shield and it's not going to break his shield at all. He'll be completely immune. So you got to be very careful and make sure you listen for the 4th pillar and then throw the boomerang after you hear the fourth pillar hit the ground. So I hit him with the boomerang, I throw it, it breaks his shield, and then I headshot Thunderblight. The headshot, it's actually pretty lenient. You can stop and take your time to aim this shot. Thunderblight will be stunned when his shield breaks, and his head's sort of going to sway back and forth, left and right. And so it's pretty easy to miss if you take your time and you shoot thinking that his head's going to stay still the whole time. His head sways back and forth. So it's really, really important that you take your time and line up this shot when starting out. So I headshot him, and I just mash A and it picks up the boomerang. Because like I said, if you stand in that certain ring, certain distance, your boomerang will come straight back to you after breaking his shield. And then we're going to do a sprint attack into 4 boomerang hits. 1, 2, 3, 4, and his shield breaks right here. So if you didn't do phase 1 properly, his shield would not break here, and he'll rise up and he'll throw those electric balls again. So that is pretty important to know. His shield breaks, we're going to hit X and jump cancel this attack, the 4th one that breaks his shield, and then we're going to switch to the edge of duality here. And we're going to turn around and we're going to go for double hits on Thunderblight. So this is a little bit difficult to explain, but imagine that you're looking top down. If we're looking from above, here is Thunderblight. To get double hits on Thunderblight, imagine a clock around him, and it's 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So if Thunderblight's here, you want to stand at around the 7 o'clock mark. This is where you want Link to be while he's facing straight out this way, because that will get you double hits on Thunderblight. So that is just me going over how to get double hits on him. And then you just end the phase with enough spins. And then at this point, I'm going to show you that there is something RNG that can happen during Thunderblight. Sometimes you'll see I'm sprinting forward and I'm going as fast as I possibly can, and I'm going to do a sprint attack. But Thunderblight is already rising up. This is completely RNG. Sometimes you're just unlucky and he'll throw out an attack before you can do anything. So the backup here is to step back, wait for Thunderblight to basically dash forward and attack, and you're going to backflip a little early to not get the flurry rush, and then you're going to do 2 hits to break his shield, and it's essentially the same thing as before. You want to spin and get double hits. He's a little high up, but I'm going to go for double hits now, and yeah, that's the backup. Is essentially if he rises up early, you wait for him to dash at you, and you backflip out of the way without getting a flurry rush, and you break his shield, and then proceed like normal.